about us.
Yeah. What's up, fellas?
Hey, guys.
As we so often do, we just got to get this shit going, or else we're gonna fucking have half the interview off camera.
We always come in and half of us are laughing, and it's like, no one got that.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, dude, guys, I'm so psyched to have you back here. It's really ridiculously exciting.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah, couldn't wait.
Man.
It's exciting.
We are so psyched, and I like I was telling you, I need you to yell at me a little bit because we're gonna get into it. But man, let's just kind of recap real quick, and I don't want to spend too much time on it. But before we do that, how have you guys been, man? It's been a minute. I've been watching you guys online and watching you kind of do your thing. It looks like you guys are really finding a groove over there. Tell us what's up.
Yeah, man, we've been all over the place with all kind of different things that are going on, from Maha to speaking at a conference next weekend for women and children's health freedoms in Nashville. So doing that, we've been literally all over the place lately.
Wow.
I got to tell you, a few weeks ago, I have a patient that I've been seeing for a while. She's sitting on my table and she's like, look, I wasn't trying to lose weight, but I found this protocol. She did your protocol like a couple of years ago.
Nice.
It was, she was like,
Yeah.
she was, I mean, here in Baltimore, and like, she's a Baltimore local, born and raised, and she's talking to me. She's like, they kind of sell it for weight loss, but like the one guy had like this horrible cancer, and I'm like,
I think I know those guys.
are they in Texas? And she goes, yeah. She goes, yeah, the program was great. I'm like, I had them on the show.
Yeah,
like
that's
a
so
few
funny.
months ago. I don't even.
Oh man.
It was so funny because I was like, wait a minute, the happy healthy guy? Yeah, them. I was yeah, I know them.
Yeah, that's funny.
You realize that everybody in your life has literally got a rock star metabolism and done the program. We're encircling you.
Yeah, we're just circling the wagons.
I am trying to get as unhealthy as I possibly can to really give you guys a hard time.
Yeah.
And honestly, when Matt said he was doing it, I was like, all right, let's see how Matt does.
And let me tell you, it fucking hit a home run of home runs. Like if a home run had like a thing above that, and then there was like two things above that, that's kind of where I landed. Yeah. It was like way beyond expectation.
Wow.
Like it was way beyond expectation. And actually, you know what? This might be a great segue. I want to hear all about you guys' stuff, but like, I'm just like out of my skin ready to talk about this. And I just feel like we got to dive in,
But let's hear it.
Well, let's cut to it, man. There's no use boring you with our lives and our just.
We'll circle back to that.
You're the guest, but Matt's just going to talk for the next hour.
No, I'm not. I'm going to actually say as little as I can. I just want you to tell me why this shit happened. Like that's my goal for tonight, right?
And honestly, I had so much fun watching Matt go through it and telling me what's going on. I'm like, oh, I see where they got that. I see. Oh, that's pretty savvy. Like I was really impressed with the layout of the program, and you can tell, like, I'm like, oh, I know that from here, but that was interesting to lay this in. It was really it's savvy how the whole thing came together.
And Tom is shortcutting the story, but like he was basically like, I want to not believe this because like that's what Tom and I made this show about, is making fun of people with ridiculous claims.
Yeah.
Like, right. Like that was sort of like the genesis
until we had a guy that made a weird claim, and then a couple weeks later he was dead, and I'm like, maybe he was onto something.
Yeah, maybe he was onto something.
Maybe somebody took him out. It was what do you mean he died?
Yeah. But like we definitely wanted to, I don't want to say we wanted to hate it, but we definitely were expecting it to fail, and we're kind of
I mean, how big is the weight loss industry, right? Just like if you take just that portion out of whatever you want to call like the wellness industry, whatever you want to call it, that is like the bulkhead of what people are spending money on, is how to lose weight. And all the added benefits you guys offer here, because your body is running better, I almost feel for the average person might be like a secondary thing where they're like, no, I just want to get better. Like I want to look better. I want to lose some weight. And then, oh shit, all your panels are within normal range now, is kind of like they don't, that to me is the cool part, right? Yeah. I'd love to lose a little bit of weight, but wait a minute, hold on. You fixed all of these things in one go, you know?
Yeah. And Tom and I were obviously looking at all the numbers pretty intensely right after I got it, and I got it back. And I think I shared it with you guys. I made that spreadsheet.
Yeah.
I think I might have shared that with you, but like, it, it was truly inspiring to see that kind of change was possible. Like, that is actually very cool to see, especially firsthand, obviously. Made more weird by the fact that I didn't even know I had that weight to lose. And yet when I looked at the before and after pictures, which, I can put on our site on the episode page here, but
You gotta
like,
go to one of those gyms.
I was
with
like,
a posing
holy
stage,
shit,
though.
I was pudgy as fuck. And I did not know that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't feel it, and it didn't look like that in the mirror, but looking at it now, I'm like, oh my God, that's different.
Yeah, and Tom, you kind of nailed it. We really kind of transitioned from being, quote, a weight loss company really into metabolic experts and helping really get people out of the medical model and really taking back control over their health. And like what you said too, Matt, where it's like, wow, it's incredible what the body is capable of when you create the right environment. And that's been our magic since day one. As you can imagine, like anything that's evolved in our messaging and our branding. But we realized pretty early on, if you're going to survive as a company, you can't advertise, hey, come get healthy with us.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to want to do it, but everybody knows they need to lose weight, get out of pain, feel better about themselves, and regain their confidence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's one of the crazy things too that kind of sucks a little bit when you start talking about weight loss, because it seems like everybody thinks they know exactly how to lose weight, because everything just becomes a version of reducing your calories and moving more. So everybody wants to make all of these different lateral shifts. And if you look at different programs out there, regardless if you're eating prepackaged foods or you're counting points or you're eating bars and shakes and all those things, they all have the same thing in common. It's just
Math.
reduce calories.
Yeah, forever, for the rest of your life.
And
Right.
move more. And so that's the problem, because not one of them is addressing metabolism. So that was one of the things that we were up against early on, because people would look at the program and go, it's just another weight loss program. So they would put it in that basket until they started seeing all these other people getting results. The same people that were like, you know what? Yeah, I do want to come in to lose weight, but I also have this diabetes issues going on as well. And so the next thing you know, all of their numbers are normal and they're off their medication. And they're like, holy crap. Not only did I lose weight, I look great. We had a guy that we were talking about earlier today. His name is Adam. He lost 122 pounds, was diabetic,
Insane.
on medication.
So
Not in the reset.
One
not in one reset, was it?
No.
We actually did a half program. He did it in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
we gave him a knife.
Yeah.
It's like, we hear it all the time. It's like, hey, isn't it unhealthy to lose, 20, 30, 40 pounds in 5 weeks? I'm like, yeah, if your metabolism program sucks ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you're just losing muscle or water, which is what most people do, you're
We
depleting.
do that here in Baltimore. It's called the meth program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
you
the
got
best weight loss drug ever.
Some of the weight is in teeth, but
Yeah.
That's the opposite down here in South Texas. They're just smoking a lot of weed and eating a lot of Doritos and gaining a lot of weight.
Going the other way.
well, we have that too.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah,
Cool
and
Ranch calories don't count.
And honestly, you having gone through this and like with a rear view mirror capacity now, like I would have been probably blind to the other benefits, but now after going through it, like let's just start out with the craziest one of all. I have no more seasonal allergies. They're gone. Haven't come back since I finished the program in August. As the time of this recording, it's March. I've had zero. I haven't taken any allergy medicine, no Flonase, no nothing, zero, out completely. I've been on this stuff since I was in college.
Holy shit. You did. I don't think you told us that, man.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Didn't? Oh, yeah, no. Crazy. That was by far, forget about the 26 pounds I lost. We'll get to that, but that's like a fucking footnote. Like by comparison, you know what I mean? You're like,
because you didn't want to jinx it, right? You're like, I got to let this marinate a little bit longer to make sure that what I'm experiencing actually is real.
well, for sure. Yeah. And like, that's like kind of weird, right? But then when Tom and I are peeling this back, it's also completely logical, right? Like you're like, oh, well, I clearly, my allergies were probably misdiagnosed. They were probably more of a reaction to inflammation triggered by perhaps allergens, but certainly the root problem there was the inflammation side. And all of my inflammation, my markers, my CRP1, everything dropped, right? So like, this is actually not something I would have thought about intuitively necessarily, but after I kind of thought about it and kind of picked it apart, I'm like, yeah, that actually makes a lot of fucking sense. Fucking lead with that, like that, but then I'm like, but all this other shit happened too. All of my blood markers, which, I kind of want to go through the highlights in a minute, but like all of my markers got better, every single one of them. And not, in some cases, not by a little bit either, right? Like,
yeah, and this happened, over a very short amount of time, which kind of goes back to why we're able to get these results. Is I think we underestimate, gentlemen, the power of the human body and what it is capable of. Like, it's a miracle that any of us even make it to 50 with all the freaking crap that we eat, the toxins in our food, our water, our air, the decisions that we're making, all the things that we do, yet our body's so resilient. And so it really showed us that, wow, you can make a few changes. And Tom, you kind of highlighted some of that, where it's like, what you did here was kind of savvy. What you did there was pretty smart. We kind of, a lot of things, we really haven't invented anything.
Yeah.
We're going to be on, but we have taken, things that we've studied and researched and looked at for really over 25 years and really put everything together in a system where all these pieces are working together to address real metabolic problems, whether it's toxicity, whether it's an accumulation of seed oil in your tissue, whether it's inflammation, whether it's the body's ability to no longer burn fat for fuel. A lot of people who do these diet programs and in these low energy states, their bodies are starved of nutrients. So we're getting your body to absorb every single piece of food that goes into your body. You probably noticed you had less bowel movements because your body.
I was just going to say that is the weirdest. That was the weirdest part of the program.
But that makes sense too, because you're metabolizing that because there is not as much, like, for lack of a better term, crap in it. But without giving away even your secret sauce, talking about that layering, when Matt's like talking about how he can choose proteins, I was like, oh, I see what they're doing there. That you can't have a spike in histamine if I'm changing the proteins on the regular. And that was so genius just in that, because I see a lot of, like, even the paleo, right? It's like, first of all, all of us would be like, yeah, a steak every meal, every day. Yeah, that sounds great. And then by like day 3, you're like, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
But like on top of that, I was on my honeymoon in Bali, right? Years and years ago, the woman, like, there's like the massage table sitting over the ocean, and he's like, $7, that's the tip price included, hour-long massage. Yeah, sign me up for one of those every day. 6 days in, I'm like, I'm gonna skip it today. I'm good. Like, I'm good. And I feel like this is an amazing thing, and I totally get now I'm gonna do a different protein to make sure my body isn't having a response to that. And even that was like, and I see elements of so many other famous diets. And I think what you guys really did was take like the most sound parts of those and interwove them in a way that made so much sense.
Guys, and we've been working on this for 15 years.
Yeah.
After Dr. Randy was, gone through what he went through with cancer, and then having to come back and adjust things to be able to go, okay, if we're going to really truly help people with metabolic illness, then we got to figure out how to be able to pick the right things in the right combination. Because it's obviously not a one size fits all approach, which like you guys have seen, and like you saw, Matt, with it, we do have different metabolic disruptor types that we're working with to be able to make sure it's customized for each of the people that are going through the program. And so because of that, we had to look at it from all sorts of different angles. So if we had somebody that was a female, a male, this much muscle in their body, this much, this many or this much hydration in their body. Everybody is so different. There's over 70 trillion cells inside the human body.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So depending on who it is that you talk to.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like just taking a key to open up a door. It was like literally you've got this combination with several thousand different combinations of different ways to be able to open this door up. And we had to figure out what was going to be the best combination for people. So we're still tweaking it to this day.
Yeah.
There's not anything that we would ask one of our clients to do that we're not also doing. I literally just finished doing our program. I do it once a year. I don't do it to lose weight like we're talking about. I do it literally just to be able to get my metabolic health reset and have a good foundation to start the year. And then because of that, when I look at my numbers, I lost 4% body fat, which equated to about 7 pounds of just body fat from the beginning of the year till now. And then I gained 4% muscle. So that right there is a huge change, even just for me. But we do it so that I can be able to go, okay, maybe we need to tweak this around a little bit. Maybe
you guys have tested it so many times. You must know micro outcomes. You're like, it was that. It was that. It was that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can.
The program looks a lot different than it even did 15 years ago in its early, embryonic stage.
That's what I was going to ask you guys. So you tell us you go to Spain, you find this doctor. How different is it from what they did? Like, I mean, is this like 30 iterations in and
maybe more, Tom?
Yeah. Okay. At least. In fact, our assistant was just letting us know that she's like, all right, you guys have any more changes that I need to make? I just ordered more of the manuals for people. What do I need to change this time? Because we're always tweaking.
Yeah, we just reworked our reset guidelines, which, Matt, on that back end, once you lose the weight to basically readjust your metabolic thermostat. We just reworked all of that. And I believe we're cracking the code even more to create more metabolic flexibility, where now not only can you burn fat for fuel, you can actually burn carbohydrates and glucose. So I've been messing around with it this year. And it was funny. I came in today and told you, I'm like, hey, man, I think I just lost an inch off my waist by adding all this extra raw honey in the reset guidelines. He's like, you serious? I'm like, yeah. And then when I got home later, I was like, oh, no, that belt, I didn't actually pull it all the way to the loophole that I thought it had it on. So actually, I didn't lose another inch off my waist. But I am leaner than I've ever been, and I'm eating more foods and even being able to metabolize more carbohydrates, because that's a big problem a lot of people have. They lose weight, they cut their calories, they go keto, they go paleo, they go carnivore, they eat 2 bananas, and all the weight is back.
Right back.
Yeah. Metabolic health.
I love that you put it like that. You eat 2 bananas. I'm like, and I had once made fun of my friend who was doing it. I'm like, there's a grape over there. If you eat one of those, are you just going to be like, just like everything's gonna.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Oh man. Really, I mean, like eating is almost a sin, and sugar is like the ultimate killer. Listen, processed sugar isn't good for you, but you know what? Eating real foods. We talk about surfing for your food. Simply eat real food. We talk about our new acronym. If you guys want to hear, you'll like this one. Sci-fi, right? So single ingredient food items. So that's really when you're eating like an egg, you got one ingredient, an apple, an orange, you have beef, you have a banana, you're eating single ingredient food items. It's unbelievable how well the body's able to metabolize these type foods and use them the way the body's designed to do that.
So it's funny that you mentioned that, because so there's been a couple like long-term effects for me from the program.
Okay.
And they're all interesting to me for different reasons, because like I think one of the things is that there is a heightened degree of rigor that I apply to this at all that sort of sits on top of all of it, right? Like, so in other words, like I am very much intentional about like the seed oils, for example, right? Like I don't want to say I'm a Nazi about it quite that crazy, but I'm pretty fucking intense with it. Like it's,
you should be.
Yeah. And it's, and honestly, it's easy. We cook now exclusively.
Well, it's easy in your own house. It gets dicey when you go to a restaurant.
Not really, because, and guys, help me with the math here, but like since your program ended, we went through a couple months where it was just ghee. Like, for example, my family loves ghee. So this was an easy we got rid of avocado, olive oil. We never use anything except for avocado or olive oil. So it was really just those two things. After a while, I was like, using ghee for everything's a little bit intense. And so I started to kind of peel back. And although avocado oil still had that 6:3 problem, that ratio issue, the olive oil, at least at the higher end, appears to not. Am I wrong here? Because we did introduce that again. But outside of that, that's pretty much the only
What'd you
oil.
introduce again? I'm sorry, Matt. What'd you say?
A high-end olive oil, just like a real pure olive oil.
Yeah, I mean, listen, quality olive oil is great, but just like avocado oil, a lot of extra virgin olive oils, they're cut with seed oil. And remember the French paradox, it's not olive oil, boys. It is butter. It is short chain fats. It's really the fats that nourish and feed the colonocytes in our colon, that those mitochondria who make those fats, energizing our mitochondria, driving our metabolic health through the roof. So not that you can't have other fats, but really, we really kind of steer most people away from any type of those oils just because not only from the fatty acid ratios, but because of the peroxidation rate. Yeah. Although avocado oil has a high smoke point, its peroxidation rate is total garbage, which is going to increase reactive oxygen species.
I was just
going to
say, is that the temperature that it creates? That? Yeah.
So, and while we're talking about the oils, right? So MCTs are pretty good. You guys were one of the first people to, at least I know, to be talking about even shorter chains, right? I mean, you're doing SCTs, right?
Anybody who was really talking about it, I'm sure they were.
No, you guys are,
I was kind of looking it up and I'm like, wow, I really haven't seen this anywhere else. I called one of my functional medicine friends and she goes, yeah, those are pretty hard to get. Like she was aware of what they were, but like let's face it, if we go into one of our health food stores here, like a Mom's or something, there's 10 different brands of MCT, but there isn't, even in the supplement section, an SCT anywhere.
Yeah, because it's expensive to be able to make it and be able to get it. You have to craft it, and so the way we craft it is going to be crafted in very small batches, and so you just can't produce it in large amounts. There is a way to produce it in large amounts, so that's our next project that is going to happen. And so rather than, all these people turning to, for example, the tallow thing.
Yeah, the tallow washing with don't believe the hype. Have y'all seen all that with the restaurants claiming seed oil free and cooking their French fries in tallow? Y'all seeing that?
I've had some duck fat fries before. They were pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah. They are pretty amazing. I'm gonna agree with you on that, Tom.
Yeah.
So I have some tallow beard product, but other than that, no, not this tallow washing.
There's a big push now, with RFK and Maha. Now these restaurants are saying, hey, we don't cook in seed oil anymore. We're cooking in tallow. Yeah, you take just ask a couple of questions, and what you're finding is they're not cooking in tallow. These are shortenings that are cut with seed oils. They're actually using like BHT as a preservative, these anti-foaming agents to make it liquefied at room temperature. No restaurant like a Steak and Shake is going to invest in real tallow.
No, hell no.
An animal's only going to have maybe 8 to 12 pounds of real tallow, which is suet. You're not going to see that happen across the board with all these franchise restaurants, but they're playing off the no seed oil thing.
Sure.
And they're using beef fat shortening. It's not the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, look, we see this, and you guys touched on it too. I mean, how much olive oil is really actually olive oil? How much,
Who knows?
Yeah.
And without any kind of regulation or oversight there, people do whatever the hell they want because they're making money.
And when we were just in Spain this last summer, and we're sitting there and they're bringing, what used to be like real olive oil to your table there in Spain. I'm like, Randy, this is not olive oil. Taste this right here. And even there in Spain, where it was supposed to be made out of Spanish olives, you could tell that olive oil was cut
as a blend
with
something else.
Blend, with some kind of seed oil. It's probably canola. It had to be. But the viscosity of it, the taste, it was not olive oil.
Yeah.
And when you dial into that, like, it's sort of really obvious, right? Like, I mean, we've been into the high end olive oils for a long time, and it's like pretty immediately clear what kind of olive oil you're dealing with. Like, I mean, that sounds kind of douchey to say, but I mean, it's like,
that's all right.
Kind of is. Like, I don't know. Um,
And if you're buying $5 bottles of olive oil, I just got a sneaky suspicion.
yeah. I might
But
have this.
it's the same thing. If you walk into your CVS and you pick up their supplements, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like there's in most cases, what is it? It's binder. It's all just binder. There's no
Yeah.
actual vitamin in it.
Yeah.
Now, all petroleum-based products that are
Yeah.
isolated, not in their natural forms. You can't even use this stuff. It's damaging your endocrine system. People
Yeah.
are really spending all this money on complete garbage products. That's a good point, Tom.
What's the other store where they say like I think it's Walgreens where they say like here at the corner of happy and healthy? I'm like,
yeah. One of those. Yeah.
Say
Ain't nothing happy and healthy about this place.
corner of
Yeah.
sick and depressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
Well, they have gummies for everything. They're all
Yeah.
gummies, and it's
Everything's
like
a gummy
there's
now.
nothing in there. It's actual just gummies.
Yeah. Just gummies.
I'd
Yeah.
rather-
Is this the stress gummy or the anti-weight loss?
Is it blue
no,
or
it's
red?
just gummy. Yeah. Fuck it. Just, yeah.
They're
but,
also
like,
in the candy aisle.
The other thing that like got me kind of scratching my head and laughing about your plan is like I eat apples. Not only does my whole family now eat apples as like a primary thing. It's like a major consideration on the weekly grocery list now. But like I went to every grocery store around us and got one of every apple that I could find.
Yeah.
Wrote them down, and we had a fucking apple tasting in my kitchen with me, my wife, and my kids. And it was super fucking cool because like none of us had ever sat down and eaten like 9 different kinds of apples at one time. And like everyone was like, oh yeah, I
A lot of
kind of
fiber.
like this one. And well, no, so we have one of those like push down.
No, I know you're not eating 9 apples a piece. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd start.
I mean, let's put it
questioning
this
you, man.
way. I had an apple core for like 20 years and it was like 8 slices or something. And it was like made out of like recycled like beer cans or something. Cause it wasn't, it was always fighting it. I ate so many apples on your program that I like Amazon one night had like a 12 slice razor blade stainless steel. I'm like, how much could that be? It's probably $1 million. It was like $8. I'm like, done. Like, I've got this like crazy apple slicer, but now it makes like 12 slices of apples. So like doing this tasting was like kind of fun. But like now I eat apples as like a go-to snack. And like I never used to. I honestly would go years without eating an apple. It wasn't like something that was in my
Well, was there a favorite?
Yeah, so my kids liked Envy, and I am more on the anything crisp. I'm like kind of generically in love
Like
with
the greener
anything.
ones.
No, crisp, like Cosmic
okay.
Crisp.
Like Honey Crisp
Yeah, Honey
okay.
Crisp. Yeah, any of the crisp
Yeah.
flavors, I'm good with all.
Yeah, I can't do Red Delicious anymore. Once you've had a crisp, it's over.
Yeah. I mean, Red, and funny enough, Red Delicious and Macintosh were the 2 least favorite for everybody, all 4 of us. Like, so it was kind of funny. We left green apples out of the mix because they were hard to find. It was wintertime here. So like it was a little tough to find even that variety of red, but yeah, we kept
You have the weirdest
green
conversations. Did we just have like a serious conversation about apples?
But hey, you know what though? But where I was going with that is it's fun.
Competition.
Yeah. We made it fun though. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like, oh, here's an apple. Like that
If there's any orchard owners listening, please send us.
Please send us
the craziest varieties.
Hey, are you listening? Yeah.
Tasting.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, it was a lot of fun. And the other thing about it that goes along with the apples is the culinary diversity. And that's something that we get real bad at because we'll cook a bunch on Sunday and Monday and then we'll have leftovers the rest of the week. Right. Like, so we can kind of like double, triple up on food. And like one thing I really appreciated about yours is like kind of that forced, like, I can eat this today, but I can't have it for 2 days more. Right. Like, like I got to wait, like I got to space it out, which helped you kind of like prioritize your taste buds. You're like, all right, I'm going to want steak by the end of the week. So like, let's work backwards from a Friday meat product, so like Monday is like Greek yogurt or something, you know what I mean? Like it was fun to kind of tweak that.
Oh yeah. It makes you a lot more intentional with what you're going to be eating and when you're going to be eating that throughout the week for sure.
Yeah. Probably, we get the feedback that people actually can taste food again.
Yeah.
Their palates are just blown out by all the hyper palatable super ultra processed foods, you just blow out your palate. You don't even appreciate food anymore. And I think there's a process that you go through because you are only eating real food for many, many weeks. When's the last time somebody ate real food for a month? Most people, probably 95% of the population would say, I've never gone a month eating only real food. And you know how we define real food. Obviously, it's food you sit on the counter, you walk away and come back in 2 weeks. If it looks the same, it's not real.
Yeah, it's not real food.
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy to that point. I feel like so many people will, like, if you ask them how good their diet is, they're going to say, I eat great. And you go into their cabinet and you're like, everything in here is not
You
healthy.
see that?
Like,
just take
all
the whole thing.
this is processed. And their fridge, their veggie drawer, their meat drawer, their fruits, there's nothing in there. You know.
Yeah, that's probably the two things that we hear the most that are not accurate that people say are, one of them, like you just said a few minutes ago, Matt, is, you know what, I really only have a few pounds to lose. And then once they start going, you're like, holy shit, I didn't realize I had 15, 20 pounds to lose. And then the other one is, I'm already eating really good.
Yep.
I'm like, okay. And then that's also the same person that when you see them in the grocery store, you see them out, they've got like the Sonic milkshake, and you see them and they know what it is that we do. And the first thing that they say to us is they're like, hey, I only do this every once in a while. I'm like, really?
Every time I drive past it. Yeah.
And then you look in their shopping cart and you go, interesting. Yeah. And just walk away. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, like, that along the lines of that, like, I agree with you. And it's funny, I never thought about that, but you're right. The food taste definitely did amplify during this. Like, and it's funny, I hadn't even remembered that until you said that. I'm like, is that true? Oh yeah, I guess that is.
Hate to lead the witness there, but
what?
I hate to lead the witness there, but you walked right into it, Matt.
No, yeah, absolutely. But like, I also used stuff that was cooler. Like, I mean, I actually have reinvigorated my love for Bragg's aminos. Like, I mean, because it was one of the like approved sort of, I don't know if you guys listed in condiments or what, but I basically used it to cook almost everything.
He was on a show and he had a straw sticking out of the bottle.
Yeah. I'm like, I have one of those Blackstones, and I actually it's funny. You guys got me to use my barbecue and Blackstone more than ever, because I basically cooked everything on one or both of those, because I had a huge griddle for like flat top stuff. So like the shrimp and the, like even the tuna a couple times, and then the grill's right next to it. So it was like, oh, I could grill a steak. I could, flat top some asparagus. But Bragg's was like basically lived outside next to the Blackstone
that's
for
kind
8
of an
weeks.
interesting thing too, because like if you even think about the quality of the ingredients, right? We don't have to dress them up as much. There's not as much prep. There's like cook it and eat it is pretty much what these cleaner foods. That's all you have to do, and that's kind of interesting. You can get by on a flat top,
Flat top and a bottle of Bragg's, man.
Yeah, we should have invested in stock before they got all bought up, right?
Yeah.
I'm curious, Matt, with your family, because obviously you going in and making these changes, you obviously, had their support. What did your family think about embarking on this metabolic journey, really focusing on real food nutrition? Did they kind of jump on board with you? Did they want to be healthier, or really you were just going solo there?
So I definitely wasn't going solo in the sense that like my family is very patient with me, in general.
Thank God.
So, they know me well, obviously. And I think that they constantly run a mix between my dad is fucking ridiculous and my dad is fucking awesome, right? Like, I think they go back and forth because like there's the stuff that I do, like this metabolic thing is just awesome. And they know that even if they're not participating in it or whatever, but they're like, dude, my dad's like got the balls to go on a show and talk about how fat he was and then jump and do this crazy fucking thing for 8 weeks and then record it like a lunatic and then go have another show to talk about it. And like, there's a lot of people that don't really sort of, and it's a shame, but like, there's a lot of people that don't share what the four of us have here, where it's like living life out loud, so to speak, right? Like where you're like, look, I'm not ashamed of this. I'm not embarrassed. There's some good, there's some bad. Take it or fuck yourself. It doesn't. You
I always find that it's like
I don't know.
I always think it's so weird when people say how hard certain things are, and like I've done a bunch of crazy diets. I worked with a couple of companies where it's like we were doing the HCG diet. We did all these crazy things, and it's funny because, I was telling you, like, I see elements of certain of those protocols in your guys' stuff, but it seems much more refined, much more savvy, much more intertwined, much more, I don't want to say methodical, but planned out than just, Dr. Simeon writing a book in the 1950s going, don't use baby oil when because you'll absorb the fat through, and you're like, wait, hold on, that's petroleum. And you're like, okay, but is bison okay? And like Dr. Simeon probably didn't even have access to bison, and these kind of things. But it within that, when people say this is hard, I don't think it's because there's just an unknowing. Like, well, what do I eat? Like, because they've never their whole life eaten clean.
And I'll tell you, your plan was the easiest thing that I've done. Like, bar none. And I didn't want to cut you off. I want to hear your answer, but like, just real quick, this was not hard. It was regimented. Let's make a clear delineation, right? It takes planning. We went to the Kennedy Center one day and I had to pack a lunch that was really weird. I had a little container of apple cider vinegar. I had a thing of shilajit. I had, you know what I mean? Like I had all this stuff and it's like in 18 little vials and bottles and, Tupperware containers. And yes,
let you in.
That's not super fucking convenient.
I'm not sure. Like they would have, like if they saw me coming with a lunchbox looking like that, they'd be like, he's up to some shit.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it wasn't like,
yeah, Bob, you grow out your beard, you're not getting it anywhere.
No, especially not the airport.
Yeah. So anyway, it wasn't that it wasn't like intentional, regimented, etc. But I would not ever call it hard. It was actually brain dead simple. Like
well, you're not starving yourself, right? I mean,
I was never hungry.
Big
not one
thing.
time. That was
you're
weird.
not denying I can't eat. Like that's it. When we talk about cutting calories, I think that's the thing. Everyone's part of their biggest fear of that is like, oh God, I'm going to be hungry.
You're going to be hungry, and then you've got to do it forever because the second that you come off of it, all the weight comes back. So that's the beauty of the program. We're not asking you to do this forever. It's a very intentional program designed to create a very specific result over a short period of time. But the results are, as we know, phenomenal. But yeah, it's not living that way forever. It really is a metabolic rehab program. We're rehabilitating your broken metabolism. And like you said, Matt, you can come out of this thing and there is a metabolic uptick. There is definitely, you're burning more calories coming out of this program than you did going into it. One of the reasons, and this is an interesting thing, I don't know if we've ever even talked about this, but something very interesting about this program is we do fatty acid deprivation in a very specific way, because when you do that, it's a way to gently allow the body to remove seed oil, because seed oil has that 680-day half-life. And in seed oils, those PUFAs, those omega-6, they set the body up for hibernation. It's called torpor, right? It's a metabolic hibernation state where now your metabolism slows down. So if you think about years of eating seed oil building into your body, by taking you through that retrain phase of our program, the fatty acid deprivation, we're moving those fatty acids out of your body over that time period to help upregulate your metabolic profile. So that's one of the ways we're able to do that. That's one of the pieces to the puzzle that by itself may not make a lot of sense, but in combination with all the pieces we put together, it really takes it to another level.
Yeah, especially doing it in a way that's simple for people. So just like you were saying, Tom, is people automatically think it's going to be hard because they've done things in the past where they are reducing calories. They are starving the cells in their body of the nutrients that they need. It is making them hungry. They do feel like they're eating sticks, twigs, berries. And, it doesn't feel good for them to do that. So nobody likes that. So they automatically think it's going to be hard like that until they start. Just like you said, Matt, they're like, it was one of the most simple things that I've ever done. I mean, heck, You're eating proteins, fruits, and vegetables. You're not starving yourself. You're eating real food.
And I was like, that was the other weird thing was I was not ever not full. Like I finished food and I was like, I'm done. Like you know what I mean? Like I was never like, God damn it, I want, more. I mean, look, I like steak a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you. What was it? 6 ounces, I think, for guys for meat like that. There is on the steak days. I'm like, no, man, I want more steak. I'm just like, I just, but like the tuna, like, 6 ounces of tuna or whatever, like that's like fine. I was totally cool with that. Like, I'm like, this is, and the Greek yogurt one, like, that 6 ounces of Greek yogurt, it's a lot of fucking yogurt. And then what I would do is I'd mix it up with like a tuna steak or not a tuna steak, like the fruit would go in there. And then I'd eat the vegetable or something like, but you put a whole apple diced up into that much yogurt. I mean, I had to struggle to get that down a couple of those times. I'm like, man, that's a lot of fucking food, man. Like,
and that's really one of the lies people believe is they think, well, if they don't eat enough calories, they're going to be hungry. But it's not the calories, it's the nutrients. So when you're eating nutrient dense food, it does create satiety. And then obviously we're getting your body to go grab all that stubborn body fat that you've been storing all these years. And so that endogenous burning of the fat really takes away the hunger because some days, you were able to lose maybe a pound or 2 pounds. Well, think about that. It takes 3,500 calories burned to lose 1 pound. That means you were burning 5,000, maybe over 7,000 calories a day of your own body fat. If you were eating 7,000 calories of food, you wouldn't be hungry. So that's one of the strategies involved as you're getting the nutrient dense food for your body. I mean, you got the satiety, you're burning lots of fat for energy. There's a magic that happens there when you combine those foods and get your body in a beautiful fat burning state.
Yeah. So speaking of, so how much weight did you lose while you were on program?
All right. It was my starting weight.
His spreadsheet.
My starting weight was.
He's looking at the spreadsheet now.
Yeah, my starting weight was 198.4.
Okay.
And my final weight was 171.5.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So that was like, if we're just going to measure it on the weight loss, that's fucking out of the park. Grand slam, like toward the skin.
Or worth the cost of admission.
Yeah. I mean, what is that? 26 pounds, something like that?
Roughly. Yeah. 26 pounds. And that happened all over the 5-week retrain, correct?
Correct. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, like, it was, and here's the thing, it was like I had a 30% drop in visceral fat. Like it was like
most important, yeah.
So it was like these weird numbers. Like it was like a 15% drop in subcutaneous fat, right? Like these are big percentages when you're thinking about A, the time scale, but B, just in general.
Did you bod pod it before and after?
No,
what did you do?
I have one of those impedance kind of scales with the app and whatever. And look, the asterisk I give to these things, and I think I've told you guys this too, is like, look, I'm not saying that these are clinically accurate numbers in the sense that like bod pod would have been much more accurate.
Oh, he loves saying this.
But it's the yardstick is the same. Yeah, correct. It's consistent to itself. So it's
the same scale.
It's the same fucking scale, and I've been using it.
Apples, right? Since we love apples.
Since we love fucking apples, yeah.
Yeah. Is it a specific type of apple though?
Weird numbers. My basal metabolic rate actually went down, and I'm actually wanted to see if you guys had any intel on that. I mean, it's weird. I lost a ton of weight, and I've kept it off, and yada yada, but. My BMR, I would not think would go down. If anything, I think maybe my troglodyte brain is thinking it should have gone up. But
so it went down. How did you assess that?
So again, I know there's a couple formulas, so I don't know which one this app uses. So I don't really know how to answer your question in particular. But my BMR dropped from 1851 to 1724. So not a huge drop, but still a drop nonetheless, right? Like any idea why that would have happened? I mean, I'm not arguing the metabolic result. I'm fucking burning like a champ, but
the calculation.
Yeah, I would just question the accuracy of how you assess that would happen. But let's say that it did, and you are right. The answer is I don't have any idea, but I would like to know, what is it currently, since you've kind of come back in out of the program, reintroduced new foods, are able to eat more foods as your body's been able to metabolize more. What is your resting metabolic rate now?
Yeah, and unfortunately, I wanted to do all that for the show today. I threw my back out, and I spent this morning at Tom's office just so I could walk again.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So like I had
Playing
like the work. Oh, you guys are Kairos. You. This is fun story. Went skiing and did nothing. Last turn of the last run of the day, I'm like, oh fuck, my back. This morning can't walk.
Well, looks like Tom did a good job. He got you up and running here.
No, Tom fucking righted the ship.
I threw the kitchen sink at him, and I was like, "Look, man, this is really pissed off. You're not going to feel better until 2 days from now." Like
he stuck a needle through my Achilles. Yeah.
You crushing seed oil on your vacation? Come on, be honest.
No. Listen, I'm not doing that. But Tom did stick a needle through my Achilles today. That was fun.
That's a spicy one. That's a special one.
Yeah. But no, I will say I don't have. First of all, these numbers, my weight numbers, I actually took after the program, forgot to write them in the spreadsheet, and measured it again almost 2 months later, and it was the exact same. So the blood work, I can't speak to that, but the weight and the cellular hydration, let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
I started on this thing as 55%, I think. Hold on, I'm just looking for it here. I think it was 55%.
Okay.
I ended at 59.8%. So it was almost 60%. So I went up 5 points of cellular hydration, and one of the other long-term adjustments, I have a pinch bowl of Himalayan salt before you guys, but certainly after the remineralization that you guys used, every day, the Himalayan salt is in my morning water, and it's like 2 healthy pinches.
He's got a salt lick, is basically what he's saying. He's
my cellular hydration is pinned at plus or minus 60.
He's got a bunch of Himalayan bricks that
exactly. I'm just licking it in the morning. But I feel like that's the right number, because if it goes to like 58, even 57, like I notice
you feel off. Yeah.
No, that's a powerful thing. You think about it, because most diet programs where you're just cutting calories and you almost have to become unhealthy to even lose the weight, you lose a lot of water, you lose a lot of muscle, where on our program, you're able to even gain muscle and improve hydration. I believe, and I don't have anything to back this up, but this is my intuition on the hydration side. As you know, a lot of times we think about metabolism and our mitochondria, and its main role is just to create ATP. But that's actually not true. A lot of it's to create heat so you can actually make your own structured water. So it's the perfect water your body makes that's renewable. And when you're able to do that, you're going to improve intracellular hydration because your body's able to make the perfect water. So I know that has to be playing a role as you improve metabolic function. Most people don't think about that, but how powerful is that to improve cellular hydration as you're losing body fat? I mean, that's almost medically impossible, right? You just don't ever see that, really. We don't see it. I mean, I don't bet you guys, you just don't see.
Well, I never measured that. I never heard anybody ask me to measure that. I never heard anyone say, oh, my cellular hydration is fucking this. Like, those are words that no one has ever said. Right. Yeah. And yet I'm like, you know what? That is a weirdly effective thing. You know what it made me feel? It's hard to say, but it makes sense. Lubricated. Like I just felt like I feel like things just move better, right? Like, and it's just like it's a really hard thing to explain, but I do, when I'm in that 57, 58 range, maybe I had a long weekend out at a party or something, like, and I just got hit the wine a little too hard, and I'm down like that. I feel it, and it's not just hangover. It's just like I'm like, look, I need some salt, like get this shit back together. You know,
back to the
so
salt.
Funny where that salt's been blamed for so many things that processed sugar is done. You know,
it's crazy how they've done that. You know, don't eat salt, and obviously eat low fat the rest of your life, and eat plenty of.
It's so crazy too when you talk about the sodium potassium pump. But just even that alone, you're like, hey, that like your body needs that to function on a cellular level.
Retain fluid. It's the retention of salt at the kidney level, and that's from insulin resistance, which is metabolic dysfunction, which can be corrected. Yeah, we know medically speaking there's a drug for every one of those problems. And they say don't have any salt, which actually makes it worse. And you begin to retain more and create more fluid within the tissue and more blood volume. So it's not too much salt. It's the retention of salt because of the insulin resistance at a kidney.
Right. Well, it's funny, a weird metric there. I lost 23% on uric acid, which I thought was one of the curious ones,
that's
right?
awesome.
Like I'm sitting there going...
And that would be something where if like you're having somebody eat red meat, they're going to warn you, oh, dude, you're going to get
gout.
Can't
do it.
You're gonna,
right.
For sure, right?
Right. And so I thought that was interesting because I'm like, I read that anyway to be like, you're excreting less garbage because you have less garbage to excrete. Like that, period. I mean, I don't know if I'm right, but like, I feel like...
surprised you didn't do a urine fast, Matt, with that, all those stem cells in your clean urine now, getting rid of all
We have a friend who did that, and he videoed it for Instagram and like had a different jar every day on the 7-day dry
Well,
cleanse.
though that was a complete fast. He wasn't even drinking water, man.
No, yeah, it was a complete dry fast.
Closed circuit, huh? Just pee, drink,
7 days, and you just watched it go down and
towards
down
the
and
end,
down.
you're like, is that all blood?
Yeah, like you're like, wow,
you're like that I've never seen before. There's something
that doesn't look good, man.
Guy's a genius. He's
we're trying to get him on the show. Actually, I would love to
some
talk
heavy
about
stuff,
that.
man.
I want to hear that, but because I'm thinking more when you're talking about the BMR, because I've looked into that, Matt, and there's really not an accurate way to be able to measure that long term.
I mean, the
one
formulas
of the
are
best ways
fraught
that you
with
can
trouble.
measure, and we should have told you to do it.
Body temperature.
Yeah, and check your body temperature every day as you were going through the 5 weeks. And that right
if
there
you
is
do
a
it,
better measure.
like if you tell anybody, make sure they do it rectly, just because it's funnier. Just see who you can sell it to.
So I don't have that on here. I thought I might have, but I guess I don't. What would you like to see in that case? A lowering, or a raising?
No,
or
it goes up.
It should go up.
It should go up.
As soon as you get up in the morning, check it.
It's first thing in the morning, right after your first meal, and then in the evening before you go to bed.
Interesting.
And that way we can tell when you're ovulating.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That too. Yeah, that too.
Yeah. You've only got a very short window when you can get pregnant. It's only 5, 6, 7 days max. Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure you post it to Instagram too.
Yeah, of course. Just because people, I think, would like to react to this one, I did lose 26% body fat percentage, which I mean, I feel like
that's fucking impressive.
It is like, I mean,
Wow.
look, I mean,
Literally.
well, that's
More important
good.
than weight loss. Yeah.
What?
The
Way more
percentage,
important than the weight loss. When you're talking about visceral fat and body fat, that's the game changer. It's visceral fat clearly is linked to cardiovascular disease, and it's a nasty fat that'll pack around the liver, the heart, the organs, compromise function. And a lot of people can lose weight by cutting calories, but their visceral fat doesn't even really change. So that's a phenomenal. You said you lost how much visceral fat, or what percentage?
Visceral fat was 33%. Yeah, it was
33% and 23% body fat.
23, yeah. A little over 23, yeah. But the thing, like, those were big numbers, and it was like funny because you're like, this wasn't just losing a couple pounds. It like was losing the right couple pounds, and it wasn't just a couple pounds, right? Like, so it worked out. It worked out well. Now, a couple things that I thought was a little like hard for me, honestly, was not doing any exercise. I know this is something that I wasn't
honestly,
expecting.
that like when he started this, I was pretty heavy into some powerlifting, and I'm like, yeah, no, you're on your own.
Yeah.
I can't not go to the gym.
Yeah. Well, one of the reasons that we tell you not to, at least no resistance or HIIT training or obviously powerlifting, is because we're already creating a hormetic environment of stress, and we're wanting you to minimize other stresses so you can adapt to this one. Plus, if you're working out a lot, especially on an empty stomach, you will have a tendency to dump too much PUFA or fatty acids into the bloodstream. And we're already creating an environment where you can release that and get rid of it. So those two factors are one of the reasons we say, hey, man, walk after meals or things like that at a zone 2. But, most people don't have an exercise problem. They have a metabolism problem.
Yeah. And I walk a lot. I was like 15,000.
Metabolism get weaker, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was like 15K a day.
And it also
walking.
makes sense that like you'd want to move more naturally if you're functioning better. So I'm sure there's like probably that burn-in stage where you're like, let me just get through this, and then you're like, no, I feel great. Do you guys ever mention or ever measure? And I don't even exactly know what we would be looking at because our brain is using the vast majority of our calories every day. Is there any way that we can like look at brain function, or do you have any info on that?
Yeah.
We do. So we have a program that we have for our upper level clients called Happy Healthy for Life. And when we start them on that, we use something called a Neuralink check. And the
Okay.
Neuralink check we're able to see what their brain efficiency is. And it gives us all kinds of different parameters for the brain. But yeah, we measure that before and after.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the wearables are nice too, because you can look at HRV and you
Yeah.
can really monitor a lot of these things. It's pretty phenomenal to watch those type markers improve and change. But yeah, the Neuralink is definitely a very, very thorough test that we do with our upper level clients.
That's
And it's
pretty
funny
awesome.
you mentioned that. Like we're building an app right now with this ring. It's an Aura type ring, not Aura, but we have access to the data, and like we launched a product actually earlier this year with it. It's actually called the In Case of Death case, and it like
That's so funny.
if you die,
It's so
it
funny.
deletes your browser history and rickrolls your friends. It's fucking hilarious. Like it's actually like really funny. But anyway, it got me like playing with the health metrics on here, and so I was testing it a lot during the program, right? And I was using my Aura ring before that, but I had this ring for your entire program.
Okay.
And it was funny because I was like, wow, my HRV, I mean, I had pretty decent HRV to begin with, but my HRV was consistent where it was not previously, right? So I dramatically stabilized my HRV levels while I was doing your program, and net rose them. I don't have an exact number, but if I had to guess, probably like 20%, 15%.
That's insane because Matt is a marathon, like an ultra marathon runner.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's insane to me.
Yeah, but I'm not that. Since COVID, I definitely haven't been, and that's definitely like been a few minutes now. And
But when you're like, oh god, my heart rate's up, and you're like, it's 50, and I'm like, dude, I just stood up and it's 95.
Yeah.
You know, I'm.
But
I'm
yeah,
like, I
my
don't know how
resting
much is anxiety or lasagna. I don't know.
my resting heart rate on your program was right around 50. So
Yeah.
like I was
Did it
like
stay pretty stable? Not a lot of fluctuation and
zero. That's what I'm saying. All of
Yeah,
my
okay.
metrics on there on the ring were basically locked
They're
and
flat
loaded.
lined.
Yeah, they were just basically like locked. And honestly, like even today, I think this morning, I think I was like 54 or something. It's not like, I mean, it's been pretty consistent. I mean, I've had a pretty consistent one, but like you guys, I will go off. Like if I go off and have like a bottle of wine with a friend's birthday or something, the next morning, my resting heart rate would be like 70.
it's going to shoot way up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to shoot way up, right?
Yeah,
but
your
I know
It's
that that's
amazing
coming.
that it bounces back still.
Yeah.
You know, it almost
Yeah,
feels like
my-
you
yeah,
almost have to intentionally self-sabotage, which is kind of like funny because, we do this thing, once a month on a Thursday, and I'm like, oh, here's Matt drinking, and he just finished this program, and it's like, yeah, it doesn't affect him.
Yeah, because it's not. Yeah, I mean, it does. And when I do, and I think we talked about it before we got on
Yeah.
the show, I have several times, not several, like 3 or 4 times, tanked myself, and I got up into that. So I ended at 171 and change. I was like, I get up to like 178, and I'm like, all right, time to crack. But here's the 2 things that I wanted to say. A, I have to try like hell to do that. Like I have to really fucking let it go, right? Like I gotta drink a bottle of wine every day for 2 weeks, on top of having like crumble cookies. I don't know if you guys have these down in Texas, but
It's a chain. It's a
about a
chain.
mile from here.
yeah, my fucking kids are like addicts. They come home every Monday with the new fucking cookie. Like it's like, and I'm like, God damn these fucking cookies in my house. Like, but I have to like really. But my point is, I got to get after it to gain that kind of weight, and it takes weeks. And then I pull out the reset. I do it. The next day, I've basically eliminated half of the problem that I created overnight. And then if all I need is like a day to 3 days after that of just like not eating like an asshole, and
Right.
I'm right back at the right spot.
Yeah.
Right. So it's
You
a
have to
very
use
quick reduction and a very slow burn that's pretty much, you got to be like as intentional as it was to do your program. You have to do the opposite to get it gain, right?
It's a great sign of a healthy metabolism, right?
A healthy metabolic thermostat is what that is.
Yeah, no question. You have used then, so you've got that metabolic reboot. If you go off the wagon and go on some 3-day bender, you can come out of that by using that. And within 24, 48, 72 hours, you should be.
Yeah, no, and I'm back to normal. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, put it this way. I went, what was it? Christmas. We were here, but we had a huge family thing that we went to Zermatt, Switzerland for New Year's. And we were, now granted, we were skiing and
You wanted to be one of the first to celebrate New Year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was like, fuck you all. I'm first.
I'm going to the 0 time zone.
Yeah. And we went over there and I ate like these fuckers love cheese. I ate more cheese in 7 days than I think I've ever eaten in my entire life. But like the food there is amazing. It's very rich. But it's farm to table. It's super fucking authentic. There's nothing there. I came back at 174 from my
I was going to be surprised
like,
if you
I was basically like, so I gained nothing. That's
how great is that to take a vacation and not have to come back on and start some diet on Monday because you're trying to live life on this, this wrecked metabolism. It does give you the liberty to not have to be perfect because we already know perfection. You're doomed from the start because who's going to not eat and enjoy life? It's just not the way we're designed, and it's probably not healthy, right? I'd rather be the guy.
Even just the psychological guilt, man. I'm recovering Roman Catholic, man. I did something wrong. God damn it. No, I can't say that either.
and the last thing that I wanted to throw at you guys about changes long term was the fact that you said you do it once a year. I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to do it once a week per quarter, like not the whole program, but like a little week where I'm just sort of like tipping my hat back to the program just to be like, you know what? It's 1 week. It's not that bad. And I don't even need it to be, I actually just did that a couple weeks ago. I did it Monday through Friday. I didn't even do a full week. But because by the time I got to the weekend, I'm like, nah, I feel great. Like, there's no reason to keep going. This doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't need to keep going. It's great. It's fine. I could, but like, I don't really need to, right? First of all, I'm not losing weight. I feel great as it is. Like, I'm just going to go out and not have to think about it. But I'm also not eating like an asshole most of the time anyway. So it's not like the difference between those Monday through Friday and the Saturday, Sunday weren't like tragically different. I definitely probably had dessert, which would have been different, but like that's probably the worst that happened.
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, the once a year thing it's kind of good just to, go back and dive deep and really begin to detox the body. Because remember, we're helping move seed oil out of the body. We're also helping detox from glyphosate and other chemicals that they're hard to get rid of that do affect the gut, affect our ability to create the structured water, and can definitely impact the metabolism among other chemicals. So there is a method to the madness of even moving out some heavy metals with the addition of the minerals, the trace mineral salts. So there's a process there. Even, there's a fatty acid. Have you ever heard of meat acid at all?
I have not.
Meat acid. So meat acid it's a rescue fatty acid. And what the research shows, and they've done this with monkeys, so I don't know exactly the exact science with humans and other animals, but after about 30 days, when you've done that fatty acid deprivation, your body it'll sense the fatty acid releasing into your bloodstream, and it'll make this meat acid to go as a rescue to save the cell membranes.
Wow.
It's stabilizing the cell membranes under this stress until your body can get the right fats to stabilize the cell membranes again. So that's why that 4 to 5 week window that we put you in is very critical to create a certain metabolic change and to upregulate your metabolic profile.
Wow.
So that once a year thing it's phenomenal.
That's interesting, actually.
It's so interesting that you're hitting hormesis from so many different levels too, where I'm going to cause this stress now, this stress now, this stress now.
Which
kind of
body
tease
likes.
these out.
The whole premise of when you're going to work out is how your body actually grows through that stress, and that meat acid is your body producing its own polyunsaturated fatty acid, its own omega-6 in order to be able to do that in an emergency situation.
You don't want to stay there very long.
Which is what's happening right now. We're doing our own science experiment on everybody in the United States with all of the PUFAs that are being given to people. And you can see the results right now are there's more people with cancer than ever before. There's more people with heart disease than ever before. It's pervasive. And it all started when you look at the introduction of these seed oils into the standard American diet. So
it's the number one toxin, no question. There isn't anything more metabolically devastating in our mind from what the data shows than industrial seed oil. And it's the one thing that really did change over the last 80 to 100 years. And that damn seed oil just does... that's why it's probably more dangerous than smoking, because you could smoke a pack of cigarettes and within a day you're going to get rid of it. This seed oil's not getting out of your body.
Don't start giving us ideas.
Yeah, don't.
Come on. I did not
Matt loves cigarettes.
Oh my God. I told my kid, I've been very honest with my kids with a lot of things like this. And I said, look, if cigarettes weren't going to absolutely kill you, I'd be chain smoking 4 of them right now.
Well,
just gonna let you know.
We did talk about that dude that ran the marathon while smoking cigarettes, right?
Yeah, I mean, nicotine does uncouple the mitochondria and activate thermogenesis in the brown adipose tissue. We can always fire thins.
I don't think I knew that. So can I just pop a handful of Nick pills and be good? I don't need to smoke the cigarette.
Should you put it where with the brown adipose tissue? If I use a patch, should I put it like on the back? Closer to where it accumulates.
Clapicles,
make the journey
get it right to the heart, right?
Yeah. That's funny. So like overall, fellas, man, I gotta say, I might have started thinking like, hey, I want to hate these guys, but like
Matt's gonna try and get another client. I'm gonna end up signing up at some point.
I absolutely fucking ended it the exact opposite. I mean, it was, first of all, it was like very cool to like go through that process. Like it was very educational, and like I can't say that everybody's going to love that part, because like I love the educational part. My wife was like, you're such a nerd. And I'm like, yes, I definitely.
Well, honestly, I was asking him, I'm like, okay, what are you doing now? What are you doing now? Okay. Send me a photo of the pills. And it was really just to like, almost like I was just a clinical observer there, but it was really interesting to see the process. And you can tell, I think I've said this several times, several different ways. You can tell the attention to every detail that you put together in that protocol. And that was really where it was like, look, I know people that have written weight loss books, and they're not as detailed to that level. And step by step, you guys really thought of everything. And to hear that you've been tweaking it for 15 years and you're keep tweaking it, you can tell that you're committed to it,
Yeah,
that
it was cool,
just
man.
Amazing.
I had a lot of fun doing it. I definitely, so we're making a page for you guys on the site, and I was waiting for this show to air so we could kind of package the whole thing up. But I mean, I really like what you guys are doing. It was super fun. There's only one thing I hated, and I got to tell you, it's one thing.
All right, let's hear it. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. Let's hear it.
Well, funny that you should use sunshine, because vitamin D was the problem. I lost 4 points on my vitamin D. And why? Because you guys told me I couldn't eat my vitamin D drops because they're in MCT oil. And so I had to stop. So I found, I had to spend 45 minutes at Sprouts looking for a fucking vitamin D pill that fit this, that didn't have.
Dude, I have an Emerson's Ecologics web, like I have an account. I could have just given you the login.
Jesus. Yeah. So I found one that had no oil in it. Very difficult to do, but
because DEK and A are fat soluble,
right?
So,
and so it was very, very hard to find. It wasn't great. I don't use it ever except for that. But like, and it bounced right back. But still, I was like, fuck, these guys are tinkering with my vitamin D, man. I don't take my vitamin D very, very seriously over here. And I was like, fuck.
Well, have you ever heard of sunlight, Matt? It's really...
I did. Yes, I hear you. I hear you.
And a lot of vitamin D deficiencies, and you guys probably already know this, are really more lack of quality protein or enough protein, and then also zinc and magnesium. Because there's cultures, obviously, that don't get really any sunshine and may not get access But now that you can add all these healthy fats back in, all these fat soluble like butter and lard and rendered animal fats, you should be getting plenty of.
No, I'm fine. My vitamin D, I just had a blood test, was 93, I think. So
you're upper.
I feel like you just wanted to hate us for like just.
I had to say something bad. I mean, come on, it can't. Nothing's perfect, right? Like, there's got to be one fucking problem, right?
I mean, even that, you know, like 5 weeks, you know.
I mean, come on, 5 weeks. I don't think it's,
you know what? I'll tell you, the first week
crisis.
Yeah,
to go, your bones aren't going to start getting brittle. You know,
no, they're definitely not. But that first week, I dialed out. First of all, I take so many different supplements and like trying to do the calculus of like what has what in it. I said, you know what? It's just easier to cut everything out for 5 weeks. So I just cut everything out. But they sit on my desk, so every day they're staring at me. They're like, you know,
he actually glues googly eyes to all of them.
You know, you want me. And I'm like, I do want you so badly. I'm just like, and I had to dial that out for a couple of weeks. But
and behind the scenes too, just so you guys know, if you remember this conversation, I'm like, these guys are the perfect gentlemen to do our program or to look at it, because they're going to literally poke holes in all of it, which would only make us better, our program better. So we really appreciate you guys even being open to want to being involved and look at it, because the feedback's phenomenal. And, you know, the negative feedback makes us better. And we knew you guys would beat it up and not sugarcoat it. So thank you guys for that level of trust.
Oh, no, absolutely, man.
Appreciate it. Big deal.
We really, I mean, I had a lot of fun doing it. I got to get Tom on it because I do think he would geek out on this too. I think,
you know, it sounds so crazy to me. And like, honestly, right now I'm just self-experimenting with GLP-1s. And it's more of like, you know, like, look, as long as I'm in the body, let me kick the tires on stuff. I don't dislike it. I don't love it. I think, you know, having a method that's a little bit more than just giving yourself a shot, even sounds more mentally stimulating to me.
Yeah.
You know, like
Tom's our peptide guinea pig.
Okay, so we're gonna have something for you, Tom, in probably about 30 days. We're not gonna let the cat out of the bag.
All right.
You got it.
And I think it's gonna be something that you're absolutely going to love. So we've literally been in the lab working with chemists and all the things recently.
Even better.
And you're gonna love it. If there's anybody that's a genius when it comes to the biochemistry of how the body works and what it is that we're talking about right now, it's this guy right here. And so we knew we had to have a product for folks just like you, Tom. And
look, I hope it's not GLP-1s, because I'm like,
in fact, I put the challenge out there. Give us 10 people who follow our metabolic program and put 10 people on semi-glutides. We'll take that bet all day long.
I'll bet you guys win.
We could probably find people that'll do that. And I think even more than just the weight loss, because you're not going to lose that in 5 weeks, right? Because even the ramping up on the GLP, you're lucky if you move the scale the first couple of weeks. You know, the overall health benefits, I'm not convinced that it's doing too much more than just taking off some pounds. You know, to see all those
definitely
other
not doing
markers,
any of those other markers for sure.
You know, and not nourishing your body. I'm well aware it's not doing. Like, I'm not naive in this. You know,
there's challenges. Obviously, there aren't quick fixes. I guess if there was one,
we'd all be rail thin and
we'd all be rail thin.
Yeah, you got it. It just doesn't work that way. You can't swallow health. You can't inject health. And there are complications. A lot of this is going to come out on the back side of this. So, you know, listen, are they right for some people? Who knows, man? We want everybody to.
Well, everyone walks their own way, you know. Let them all do their own thing.
Yeah. I'll tell you this: your body does make GLP-1 naturally, and there are things you can do to optimize your body's ability to do that without any of the negative effects that come from those type medications.
See, now I'm all excited. We might have to do a second round.
You know, Matt, this is why you don't go in first.
Yeah, right. Yeah. First to market, not always the winner.
You, bro. All your patients are going to be like, hey, have you heard of the happy, healthy guys?
Yeah,
we're losing tons of weight. And you're like, yeah, I kind of know them. I'm over here doing GLP-1. I should probably do their program.
Yeah, I mean,
well, no, I'm not telling the patients that. I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah, why would you do that? No transparency.
Fellas,
Yeah.
we got to let you go at some point tonight.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
I love you guys. and all,
We have
but,
such a
like,
good time with you.
we
Yeah.
realize that there's nobody left listening. It's an hour and 14 in. They're like, nope, we're done.
I don't know. They didn't hear you trash them at the end about the vitamin D.
Yeah. Oh fuck. The anti vitamin D people, like, yeah, they're gonna be all up in arms. But but other than that,
If you want to keep taking rat poison, that's up to you, Matt. Go for it.
exactly.
Well, you do get a little bit of a rush. Strychnine is a neurostimulant.
Yeah. So, fellas, where do we send people out? So, just full disclosure, we actually are working with you guys in an affiliate capacity. We definitely are going to have you all over the site. So, you guys are probably the only people I don't have to ask where to send people to, because they will have plenty of ways to go there. But if we were not in the mix or got hit by a bus tomorrow, where would we send them?
Yeah, the easiest place for people to go is going to be to go to metabolismscore.com, figure out what's going on with their
isn't
metabolism.
it? That's where we started this whole craziness, didn't we?
It is, right?
Yeah,
is.
holy
Yeah,
shit,
yeah.
I forgot all about it.
Yeah, I think you took it like immediately,
I
didn't
took
you?
it like the night of our last interview. Yes,
I think
that's
I
correct.
beat you on the initial too, and I think you were real pissed off about that.
No,
I
you
think I was
guys
like
even
2 points better than him or something.
you guys actually said to me, I think I had a 10. Is that a number on your test?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not
I
a good one.
Not a good one. No.
I think I had a 10, and you're like, yeah, I'd take that seriously if I were you. That's not a good number. And I was
Matt,
like,
you gotta
what?
take it again. You gotta take it again. Let's see what your score is
That's
now.
a good answer. Like,
Yeah,
hold
you
on, I'm
gotta
gonna write
take it
that down.
again. Metabolismscore.com. It's a simple quiz and gives you a somewhat of an indicator on how healthy your metabolism is. That's a great place for people to go. But yeah, take it again and see what your number is.
I'm
Yeah,
going to
and
do that. Just tell your staff I'm not like, to take me out of the funnel.
Yeah.
Like I just
No more emails.
You're already on the mailing
I'm
list.
already on the mailing list. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and what we talked about even before we came on is what we're going to do is we're going to put together literally a 3-part series to walk people through like what you went through, how they can be able to heal their metabolism. And then we'll have our team get y'all the link. That way it's specific to you.
Perfect.
your
Yeah, that'd be
listeners,
great.
And they can be able to have that. So
That's
so
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah, I'd love to do
Yeah,
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I have been espousing you everywhere I go. And here's the funny part: people are like, "Oh my God, you lost 26 pounds," and then I say, "Yeah, but that's like not the most important thing." And then I go to the allergy thing, and that is when I see everybody's eyes just shift. They're like, "Well, wait a minute, hold on a second.
Yeah.
You said what now?" like,
And then balloons
Well,
fly
yeah,
everywhere.
I
Yeah,
think
and
it gets
balloons
back to the
everywhere.
everyone's got a miracle weight loss cure, but when you have all these other things stacked into that, you're talking about a more robust system that is really addressing the underlying cause of all that.
yeah, I've had like the bottom of my feet have been dry for 15 years and I thought it was from running all the time. That completely went away too. So I'm like, what the fuck was
Wow.
that? How is dry feet related to metabolism? I have no idea, but it was one of those things where it's just, I've like Tom said, I'm constantly running, doing this and that. Like, it's just sort of like one of those things you accept as like, my feet might not be beautiful. I use them like crazy,
Got
like,
pretty feet. If this whole acupuncture shit doesn't work out, I'm going right on the foot fetish sites.
yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of modeling, Matt, did you send us over before and after photos?
No, but I do have a couple
He's
of them.
got some nudes he can send you. They're very tasteful.
We don't want those.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need to see that.
No,
Yeah.
I do. I definitely
Thanks for
have
that.
before and afters for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to see those. And yeah, there's been, and speaking of the allergy thing, there's been so many just like random crazy things we've seen over the years, if you can imagine, that just magically go away. So it's cool to hear these stories. Anything else that changed that you didn't tell us, or something?
No, I think that was sort of those were the big ones. And my wife has had allergies forever, but I think I did tell you. Oh, I think I did actually talk to you guys about this maybe on our little follow-up call. But my wife we call her a picky vegetarian or a compromising vegetarian. She'll eat chicken. That's as far down the meat rabbit hole she'll go. Right? It's like that's it. She stops there, and she definitely doesn't eat seafood. So like it would be. She's like, I don't like my allergies, and if I could repeat that, I would, but I cannot eat like, all the meat stuff. And you and I were talking about. She just, I think from a amino acid standpoint, if nothing else, it'd be difficult to impossible to replicate that with anything other than animal protein.
Yeah, we used to work with vegans, and it was a challenge. You can't sequence things out correctly. You could get a result, but it wasn't near as good a result as we get with our standard program. So
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the tofurkey is not as good as real turkey.
No, it's when you got 87 ingredients in a piece of quote meat, it's not going to do the same.
Wait, you're saying vegetables that bleed are not natural?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're ruining Beyond Burger.
Laboratory meat. That's not no animals were harmed.
Yeah.
So
no.
not going to work.
But a lot of
except
beets
the
were.
one eating them.
Exactly.
That's funny. Well, guys, I love you guys' formula. I love what you guys are doing. It's fucking awesome. Thank you for doing what you're doing. And I
Guess I'm gonna get healthy.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun, man. So
yeah, we are, man. Well, you guys are the best, man.
Yeah,
Thanks for everything.
So much fun,
we
man.
couldn't
So
wait to
much
jump
fun.
back on. So
always a pleasure, fellas. Stick around after this, but thanks, guys. We can't wait to post everything online. Have a great night.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
yeah, good night.
Be subversive, irreverent.
Health is wealth, but you knew that.
Everybody knows that.
But so is following us on social media at Irreverent Health. And check out our website for more exclusive content at irreverenthealth.com.
Oh, I like this.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Irreverent Health.